All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. We will give it a minute, even though we were late. We will see if anyone else was late. So whilst we've still got some people joining, we'll just welcome you to our Q&A.
Yes, welcome.
I am gonna go like against the rules today, because usually on our Q&A sessions we don't mention what national day of the year it is. However, it's National Day of the Snake today, and I'm very excited about it. Any Taylor Swift fans might be as well. Sean's now melting down because like
we're against the rules.
We're against the rules. I'm being a rebel.
The last one was on the 18th of June, I think, and you didn't let me talk about the Battle of Waterloo.
And that's one of your favourite battles.
Okay.
All right. How brilliant. And looks like we've got everyone here, so we will get started.
So yeah, welcome to our Q&A session, and it's all about DataGrid Views. So this is a very exciting brand new feature that we're very excited about. So yeah, we imagine you'll have a lot of questions for us, how it works, what it's going to look like, and how it will benefit you.
So today, Sean and I are going to go through some pre-prepared questions that we'll expect you want to know the answer to. But we also have breaks between those to answer any questions that you submit through our Q&A. So please do be populating that as we are talking. Don't feel you have to wait for those breaks. We will get to them as we go along. So type away.
And this is quite a short session, and we have a lot to cover. So after being late to our own session,
yes, we will jump right in. Okay, so what are DataGrid views? So if we haven't been looking at our changelog, DataGrid views allow you to save and switch between different column layouts in your DataGrid. So that means you don't have to manually reconfigure your DataGrid every time you have a focus change. So if you have multiple roles or you switch between different actions, this can be really helpful. So whether you're reporting on future courses, reviewing in-house or exclusive courses, tracking sessional course performance, you can create tailored views that will show you the exact columns that you need, already sorted into the right order. You can also have multiple views, name them clearly, and then you can switch between them as you're then switching between your different job roles.
With a single click.
Single click. Okay, Sean, why use DataGrid Views?
Thank you, Sarah. So why would you use DataGrid Views? The purpose of DataGrid Views are to save you from manually updating your DataGrid columns throughout your day. You might find that certain DataGrids, you might need certain columns, you might need for different tasks. So there are many columns available in your DataGrids. Manual updates can be a time-consuming task, having to go to that column selector every time. This can mean that key fields are often missed. Inconsistencies can be introduced in how your data is viewed, exported, and reported on. And DataGrid Views solve this problem by letting you save time, because you only need to configure your columns once and reuse them whenever you need. And it lets you reduce errors by reducing the number of manual updates and also helping you to stay organized and switch your focus quickly.
So what is a good example of when you'd want to use multiple views in the same data grid? So the courses and delegates data grids are the ones that we've come up with the most ideas for. So in this screenshot, we are in the class delegates data grid. So currently the invoicing view is applied. So in this view includes some basic delegate information like username, their account, and the course name, and also the start date. But it also includes the delegate status on the course, the invoice reference, and the invoice status, all of which can be helpful when you are generating invoices, maybe chasing for payment, doing any of your invoice-based actions. So now we can apply the post-course view instead, and you can see how those columns change. So this now includes some basic delegate information, the user, their account and their course and the start date, but the focus is more on the status and the score of the delegate in this view.
So that's going to be kind of really handy if you've ever got like delegates that you need to track attendance for, but you've got another task later on that relies on custom fields.
I was thinking about using it for certification. You can have a certification one based on their status. We've got lots of ideas on how to use it.
Are limitless.
Limitless and endless.
So yeah, how do I create a new DataGrid view from scratch? Now, this will be the first thing you all do with your DataGrid views. So we're going to demo through this with a short video.
Display.
So first of all, if you want to just click again there. Yep, we go. First of all, we're going to go to Finance Invoices, and we're going to click the Views option. Now, the Views menu is on the right-hand side, like it is with your filters, and we're going to Save as New View. This is going to save the current DataGrid layout as a view. So we're going to give it a nice name. We're going to call it Invoice Addresses, and then we're going to save and close. That's successfully saved. So now we're going to remove any columns that we don't need. So we're going to click remove column, get rid of status, get rid of amount paid, and get rid of outstanding. We don't need any of those. And next, we're going to go to the good old column selector, and we're going to find some columns that we would actually like for this view. So invoice addresses, we're going to have invoice address, that field. We're going to then look for invoice town and city, county, state, country, postcode, and lastly, invoice email address. And we're going to save that column layout as you usually would, but then we're going to save view. And there we have it. Invoice addresses is saved as a view, but it's different to your default views, and you can enable it by just clicking on it as you would for a filter. So there we go. It's as easy as that. We can toggle between that view and your default columns by just applying or unapplying.
Cool. Okay. The next question we have is, can I share my DataGrid views with others? So that is our plan. So in the early access stage, we are only allowing super admins to have access to this feature. It's not available just yet. It will be coming very soon. So super admins are going to get access to this first. As we said, we're not going to be shareable, but it is our plan. So in the future, and I imagine when we give access to the rest of the training admins, we'll allow that sharing functionality. But we're going to hopefully add it as soon as we can.
Thank you, Sarah. So next question, when will DataGrid views be available for me? So as Sarah just pointed out, the super admins rollout is this month. It is going to be a phased rollout, so you may get access within 1 week, or it may be another couple of weeks there. But you will see eventually a pop-up in your platform to let you know when the update has been applied. Now, standard admin access, as Sarah pointed out, will be in a few months. This gives you super admins plenty of time to get familiar and also define some really great views in advance.
That's it. Yeah, so super admins, keep your eye out for this views tab on your data grids. Okay. So can I apply a saved view across different data grids, or are they specific to each one? Now, they are very similar to filters in this way. Each view that you create will only be available in that data grid. Now, this is because our columns vary across our data grids. So a view that you create in the class delegate module will not automatically be available in the web delegates module, because each data grid has its own list of columns. Okay, so we have reached our first pause section where you can submit your own questions. So I'm going to pop those up on the screen now. Looks like we've got some questions already, which is very exciting.
The floor is open.
Okay, so Chris Gearing has asked a question, I think, before we'd answered it. So Chris, is this able to be viewed now or coming in the future? So super admins will be getting access to it very shortly in the coming weeks, and then our standard training administrators will be getting that a few weeks after that. Okay. Oh, excellent question from Chris as well. How can I triple check if I am a super admin? You can do that by going into your users data grid and applying the column of main role and then searching yourself, and that will show you what you are. Okay. So Alex has also asked a question here. Will filters populate across all DataGrid views, or will you have to set filters per DataGrid view also? Great question. Do you want to take this one, or would you prefer me to?
That is a really good question. I'm not sure.
So filters and views will work together, but they aren't linked in any way. So you can have a view set up, and then you can just toggle your filters across that view. So they will work together, but you will need to just apply them in the same way that you do now.
So effectively, the views are completely separate to
They are
filters.
separate,
They've
yeah.
just
So you
set
don't
column layouts,
yeah,
and you've got
exactly.
filters on top of that. So it's separate.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it. So we did look at that initially, I think, about adding a view, your columns, and then adding a specific filter in with it. But it worked best if we kept them separate, and then you can keep your filter applied, toggle your view on and off, or toggle your view on and off, and have your different filters on.
There you go, Alex. We learn something new every day.
Perfect. DataGrid. Perfect. Yeah, so Jamie's asked a very similar question. So do your DataGrid filters persist when you're applying your views? And they do. We also have a feature that's coming in this release that will tell you how many views you have applied and how many filters you have applied without you being in that favorites bar. I think that's going to be really helpful for knowing what you've got applied on your DataGrid.
It also indicates if you've got filters enabled at all, really, if there's a number there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know I basically just said exactly what you said there, but in a slightly different way.
Perfect. Yeah, so Chris wants to know the difference between the new DataGrid views and the filters that you've already got set up. So filters are limiting the data results, and these views aren't limiting at all. It's just changing the columns that you have exposed in your DataGrid. So if I think about delegates and my earlier reference of certification, my DataGrid view might show me the delegate name, the course, the date that they finished that, and their status. I still will need to apply a filter to show me only completed delegates and only delegates that are in the past.
It's comparable, I suppose, to reports where you've got fields and filters as separate sections. So you can see DataGrid views as a way of just changing the existing fields in your DataGrid in a really convenient way, just by doing a single click. Yeah. But the filters are still separate to that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Perfect. Brill. And then Faye has asked a question. Sorry, I've missed this. We did mention it briefly, but we were very speedy. She's asked if you can share your DataGrid views with others as we can with filters. So the functionality is not available yet, but we're hoping to add it very, very soon, especially for super admins. This is why we're doing a phased rollout. So super admins can get your hands on it, have a play around with your views, and then when we sort of increase the functionality, we'll allow sharing for that as well. Brill. All right, so we have a couple more pre-populated questions that we'll go on to, but really enjoying these questions, so do carry on popping those in the Q&A and the chat.
So we will be opening the floor again.
Yeah, we will open the floor again for more questions at the end of our predefined ones. So moving on now.
Thank you, Sarah. So the next question we're going to look at is, why is there a red triangle on my views button? What this means is that you've made changes to your view, but you haven't saved them yet. So that little triangle is basically just like an indication that there are some unsaved changes that need to be made. If you leave that data grid, those changes will be unapplied. They won't be there anymore. You've got to go in and save.
Yeah, it's quite good as well because it's on the views button. It's also the little green triangle is on your save button as well. So it's nice and easy to spot if you've got unsaved changes. I need that in all facets of my life, I think. Oh, here we go, look. So, and why is there a green number on my filters and view buttons? So this is the feature that I mentioned briefly in our pause, is our badges that indicate how many filters or views that you have actively applied. So in this example, I have 2 filters applied and 1 view. So I think this is just a really great feature to support our views, but I think it's useful just with your filters anyway. I know I've been caught out with it before thinking, where's that result? And I've got a filter applied. So really, really helpful and exciting new feature there.
Thank you, Sarah. So what happens when I delete a view? Do my columns reset? Can I get it back? So when you delete a view, you will be shown your data grid with no view applied. So you will see your default columns. So you know when you open that little column selector, you've got the default view option at the bottom there. So you cannot undo a delete. So just be careful that you don't delete any views that you are currently using, currently benefit from, that you would consider to be important. They are quick to recreate if you do happen to delete them though, so it's not the end of the world. You can get it back, but just there's no undo button, as it were.
Okay. So what's the difference between removing a view and just unapplying? So I've got a little video here where we click and unapply a view and re-click to apply it. And then if I want to remove a view to tidy it up, I'm going to use the little X. Now this doesn't delete the view, it just moves it into the views drop down for you to access at a later date. And then when you reapply that, it will pop it on automatically. So you can hide it and then re-add it into your favorites bar.
Very nice. Next question here. If I make a column change but forget to save my view, will I lose it? So the answer to this is yes. This is why we've added those red triangles that we were talking about earlier. So these are there to be clear indicators that there have been changes made to the view that I'll start that again. These are meant to be clear indicators that there have been changes that are unsaved that you need to make sure that you save. So, so that you don't lose all the work you've done there in setting up that beautiful view that you've created. So yeah, there we go.
Keep your eyes out for those little red triangles. Okay. So if I apply a view and then use filters, will it save those filters too? So this is actually similar to the question that we answered in the middle. So views and filters are managed completely separately. So you can choose which view to display and then choose to filter your data grid however you would want without them influencing each other. So if you have a view applied to your courses data grid that is focused on fill rates and profitability, if you were interested in whether your upcoming courses had a high enough fill rate, you could add a filter to show you future courses only. So whereas if you were interested in how your past courses performed, you could apply a filter to show you past courses only. So they work together, but they're not linked. So you have the flexibility to choose which view and filters will make the most sense for the job that you're currently completing.
Thank you, Sarah. Next question. Do views affect data grid exports? Now, the short answer to this question is yes. When you export, the default is to export the columns that are shown in your data grid. So we see this as a good thing. Your data grid views should make exporting the right data much quicker. So there you go.
Perfect. All right. And we are handing over onto you again, handing the floor over to you. So we will just chat for a little minute whilst you submit any questions.
My favourite thing about the Battle of Waterloo is?
Go on, please tell me. What is your favourite thing about the Battle of Waterloo?
I'm having to think there's quite a lot of things.
Is there a song about the Battle of Waterloo?
Um,
Surely there is.
As defeated you won the war.
We won't subject you to any more of our singing. Okay. Green count of views. Will this always be 1? Can't see it. Yes, Jamie, you're correct. So your green count of views will always be 1. It's sort of just to show you that you have a view applied if you were in your filters tab. But great question.
That poll, we definitely want your input. As part of your early access, we're asking super admins to share any useful views you've created, whether it's saved you time, made reporting easier, or whether it sort of works for your day-to-day. We're building a bank of super admin favorites for super admins. So yeah, yours could be part of it. So yeah, do let us know.
Okay, just have a final check-in for any more cues in our Q&A. All right, so I think that's everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.